Hello, so just came home from Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's gonna be my review of it. Oh my god! It is a fantastic film. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to give spoilers, but I may fail, so warning, spoilers ahead. So it starts off first 2 minutes after the previews. You're probably already crying because, oh my god, poor Peter. Just the poor Peter, poor guy. I just want to cry for him. And so, anyway, a dramatic thing happens in the beginning, and he runs off crying because he's a little kid. He's like maybe 6 or 8, in between that area. And he's abducted by people who I think they're called the Ravagers. I think those Ravagers what they're called. Anyway, he's abducted by them. He's raised by them, and he becomes, thief, outlaw, Star-Lord dude. And as we see in the previews, he's stolen a thing and gets caught. But the dudes who catch him aren't the cops. He, gets away from them, and then the orb thing that he stole, he's selling to some other dude. And the other guy's like, no, I don't want this anymore because this other bad dude wants it, which we now know is Ronan, the main bad guy. And so he comes out of the deal, and entrance Gamora, Green Lady, who is freaking hot as hell and badass. Like, she's the awesomest green chick ever. And so she takes the thing, or okay, she beats him up first and tries to take the thing. And before that, we are introduced to Rocket and Groot. Rocket's got this sci-fi, map thingy that he's just pointing at random people and just basically insulting people. And I find it absolutely hilarious. And then Groot's in the back by this fountain, just drinking the fountain water. And I find that hilarious. Rocket turns around and just says, dude, don't drink the fountain water, it's gross. This coming from a raccoon. That's hilarious. For me, at least. I don't know about you, but for me, it's funny. And he finds Peter. He with his sci-fi thingamajigger, he sees, hey, there's a bounty on this dude's head. So, being green little raccoon, tries to kidnap him for the bounty. Big fight in this Times Square of this planet. And they all get caught by the police because, big fight in the middle of a big, busy, central area. They're kind of in trouble. So, they all go to prison, and we know most of the story from there. They're in prison, they get out of prison, blah, blah, blah. While they're in prison, it's really super funny, because when they meet Drax, and it's just showing, how literal he is, he doesn't get metaphors, so there's a lot of hilarious humor and lines from him. Like, if you've seen in the previews, where Rocket's saying his kind or literal, metaphors will go over his head. He's like, nothing goes over my head. Like, oh my god, you're so well funny. Groot says, I am Groot several times, and Peter Quill doesn't understand what he's saying. He's like, I heard you first 87 times, or something like that. It's funny. And then after that, they get out of the prison. A whole slew of things happen, and they get to Nowhere, which is the big separate head planet thing, where Gamora has a buyer for the orb, which, lo and behold, hey, it's the Collector! The creepy dude from Thor: The Dark World, that creepy dude at the end credits. Yeah, he's still freaking ass creepy. And he reveals what the orb is. The orb's actually a container, and once it's open, there's this little purple gem in it, which he says is an Infinity Stone. So we now know what 3 Infinity Stones are. The Tesseract from Avengers 1, the Ether from Thor Dark World, and now this purple gem thingamajigger. I don't know what it's the purple one, so I want to say it's the Mind Infinity Stone, but I don't know, because I don't know that much about the comics anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. And so they find out what this is, and somehow just kind of someone touches it and blows up the place. And so they steal it back and like, okay, we can't sell it to them. We have to give it to these, good guys because their planet's going to be destroyed by Ronan the bad guy if he gets his hands on this thing. And they're like, no, they had us arrested, bad things might happen. And, of course, bad things do happen. and they're captured again, and they figure, okay, we have to go and save this planet. So they go to save the planet, and it's the battle. It was like the police force, whatever the hell they are, have these really cool ships that when the bad guy ship starts coming towards the planet, they form a huge barrier net thing, and it stops the ship, or at least delays it for a while. And it looks so badass. It's like big star ships, like it looks like little stars from the back, making this big gold net that's holding this ship up so it doesn't come down to the planet. And then when they notice, okay, this isn't gonna work, we had to, break this net that's holding us, the bad guy sends ships down to, like, kamikaze dive bomb the city. And there's Rocket in his ship, and then all the other good guy ships that aren't in the net, coming in to save the city. They're, like, sitting straight up and shooting straight up at the bad guys. And it looks exactly like the game Galaga. So I had to make that reference while in the movie theater, my friend, and it was hilarious. And, the net ultimately fails because the bad guy's a dick, and it comes down to and the good guys, or the main Guardians of the Galaxy, get into the ship, and they, there's a chick fight between Gamora and, I think her name was, what was her name? I don't remember the blue chick's name now, but she was cool and bitchy and angry. My friend loved her, she was awesome. But, they fight, she gets thrown out the window, or the hole in the wall. I don't know if she's dead, probably not, because she was all cybernetic and creepy, so I don't think she's dead. And, the good guys, they break in, kill everybody, shoot the bad guy, they think they win, but they don't. And then, major fight between them all, and the ship is now, like, being destroyed from the inside out. So the bad guy poops for a second, and the good guys are like, no, oh no, like, we're not gonna survive. And Groot, the beautiful, fantastic thing that he is, like, covers them in this big net of branches and greenery, and just it's like a giant Groot hug, and it's awesome. And, he's protecting them all from the imminent crash from the ship hitting the ground. And Rocket gets all emotional, like, no, Groot, you'll die. And I'm like, oh no, it's a thing that Groot is doing, and he's gonna kill himself. No, Groot, no! And then Groot says an awesome thing. From the beginning on to this point, he's always said, I am Groot. Now he says, we are Groot. He is defining himself as his friends, because they are Groot, he is Groot. They are all one, and I'm like, baby, no! And Rocket, he's also, no, you'll die. He's like all emotional, and then the ship crashes, and the ball of protective Groot branch things explodes. They're all on the ground in the rubble, injured and unable to move and stuff. And when they start being able to move, Rocket sees the sticks and timbers that used to be Groot. And I have never cried so hard with a raccoon in my life. I was so emotional for him. Like, no! Groot! Rocket, no! It hurt so bad. And so bad guy Ronan miraculously comes out. And Peter does a really stupid thing, which I find hilarious. Rocket was upset, tried to charge him, because, hello, his best friend is dead, and he's angry. You see his ears go back, and it's actually really adorable, and terrifyingly so pissed off. He attacks, it's cast aside like a ragdoll, lands in some machine parts, and he's then trying to make something out of it. And the others see that he's doing something, so they know they have to distract bad guy. So Peter does the stupid thing, which is he gets up and starts singing an old 80s song, which I don't remember it right now, but it was funny how he was just kind of singing it, standing there, and he's doing the, the pelvic thrust and trying to dance, and he starts dancing a little more, and Ronan's like, what are you doing? And he goes, dance, Bella, come on, you and me, right now, you and me. And he starts dancing, I'm like, Peter, no! No! This is not gonna work! Peter, no! And he looks over to Gamora and says, and, he's waving her over, he's like, come on, answer me. And Gamora's like, he's like, okay, bring it back. And he starts dancing more, he's singing more, and Ronan's like, what are you doing? He asks a second time. And Peter looks over, sees Rocket's finished whatever the hell he was doing, and says, I'm distracting you, Turd Blossom! And then, poof, Rocket hits him with whatever the heck machine he was making. It shoots him. He doesn't die, but it doesn't shoot him. It shoots his hammer, which he put the purple stone into, which made it all powerful and crap. And it breaks the hammer, and then the stone's just kind of out in the open, where Peter and Ronan do a slow-mo reach for it, and Peter grabs it. And now if someone touches it, they get destroyed, and around them gets destroyed, so Peter's got this thing, and he starts turning, like, purple, and the skin's coming off, he's, like, just slow-mo disintegrating, it looks very painful. And Gamora's like, no! And they reach out, and they grab each other's hands, and she starts going all purple, and body disintegrating, and painful, and screaming, ah! And then Drax grabs Peter's shoulder, and he starts doing this, and the same thing starts happening to him. And Rocket his little tiny hand grabs Drax's finger, and it's adorable. And then he starts going like, ah, painful, disintegrating. And then it stops. Not just stops, but like recedes, and they stop disintegrating, and they start going back to normal, and their eyes are all purple and creepy. Everyone's like, what? How? No mortal can touch it! And then Ronan's like, not Ronan, Peter, he says, just like you said, we're the Guardians of the Galaxy. And he opens his palm, and this purple light from the stone shoots out and destroys this bad guy. And then Gamora has this sphere thing and traps the stone inside of it. And it all stops, and the cloud goes away, and everyone's okay. And then, day is saved. The Rocket goes back to the pile of wood and tinders that used to be Groot, and is crying again and mourning. And Drax sits back next to him and starts petting his head like a little cat. And it's cute and adorable and sad because he needs comforting, and he's a raccoon and petting. And, so I love it. And then things happened after that. And if you've seen the gif already of little tiny stick Groot in the pot dancing, that's what's left of Groot. That is the end result of Groot's sacrifices. Now he's a little stick that's slowly growing back into his normal self, and he's dancing, and it's adorable, and I love it. And then, I think I was like 5 minutes of credits after that, and the weirdest cutscene, or Easter egg, and, mystery scene I've ever seen. I don't know if any of you have heard of Howard the Duck. I haven't. My parents have. It was Howard the Duck in a display case, or broken display case, drinking, it looked like a martini of some sorts. Just talking stupidly. And I'm like, what the hell? The hell? What? I didn't understand it. I had to ask my parents who the heck Howard the Duck was. It should be someone that I know, but I didn't. And that was the end of it. I'm like, I'm confused. So the movie itself was the best thing I've ever seen for a long while. But that secret ending scene, Easter egg scene, I don't know what the hell that was. But yeah, whatever. But so, yeah, that's my little review thing for you. So enjoy, have a good day, and good night, everybody.